As the governor of Arizona, I take great pride in introducing a force of nature from Arizona. Michael Crow came to Arizona State in 2002 via Columbia University, where he was vice provost and in charge of science and technology. He came to our state with a grand vision to create a new American university. And the proof is really in the pudding. Not only with the Fulbright scholars that he's been able to attract, retain, and graduate, but with the distinction of being named the nation's most innovative university for the third year running by U.S. News and World Report, beating out institutions such as Stanford and MIT. This is a gentleman that has not only transformed this university, he has laid the groundwork to transform the state. The Barrett Honors College at Arizona State University was recently called by the New York Times as the nation's gold standard in honors colleges, the equivalent of an Ivy League education at an incredible value to our Arizona students. So it gives me great pride to introduce, and if we could give a warm NGA welcome to President Michael Crow.
Thank you, Governor Ducey, and governors. It's an honor to have and a privilege to be here to be able to speak with you. I come in hard off the stagecoach from Arizona, the 48th state added to the lower 48, the frontier where new models that can help us to actually shape our future are possible. We have been able to build a new university model, and I mean literally a new university model. We call it the New American University. It could have been called the old idea of what an American public university was supposed to be, one that was connected to everyone, working with everyone, advancing everyone, unbelievably efficient, unbelievably effective, all of those things. It could be what the future would need, which is a university which has a connection also to everyone, connecting at all levels of education and to every citizen that needs something from the university. You all as governors are the arbiters of the future. Your constitutional assignments are unique in our democracy. You have the unique responsibility for advancing and designing those elements of our democracy that are most critically dependent upon education and for overseeing those educational processes in each of the states. So the question to each of you is, can we build a new kind of college or university, community college, local four-year public college, massive public research university? Can we build a system within higher education, public higher education in particular, that can be actually adaptive, actually respond to the changes that are around us rather than something that you've all been told, well, the faculty are really running that place, or we can't get anything done at that place, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So here's what we're facing. We're facing, and you all are facing as governors, I think, and I use this word intently, a fundamental economic and social change moment, like nothing that anyone alive today or our parents or our grandparents or our great-grandparents have ever experienced, and that is the rate of technological advance will accelerate infinitely. And through that acceleration, all things that we think about, the way an economy works, the way work is done, the definition of work, the definition of education, the definition of a career, the definition of a job, the definition of labor, the definition of all things will be altered by the fact that we all carry around supercomputers in our pocket, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You know all of that. You match that with the growing diversity of the American population. You match that with the unbelievable rise of global economic powers, which is fantastic to the long-term benefit of the population of humanity on this planet. You match all of that together, and then you say, what does it take for us to be successful in the future? And I'm not a politician, but I am going to say that, you know, if it's not 4% or higher economic growth on a 3-year running average in all or most of the states and then aggregating to a national level, then we've got problems related to social mobility. We've got problems relative to the further advancement of our population. We've got problems with continuing the American dream if we can't maintain that level of economic advance. If we can't graduate by the age of 18, 90 to 95% of our high school students, we're basically assigning them to a life of suffering. We're assigning them to a life of suffering. And you as governors, you all know all of this. if we can't get at least 60% in the foreseeable future to some kind of post-secondary certificate, and I'm using old terms, high school, old term, post-secondary, old term, college, old term. These are fixed boxes of the past. If we can't get 60% to some kind of post-secondary certificate, we're not going to have a workforce capable of being able to adjust quickly enough to the thing that's changing everything, which is ubiquitous, high-speed, forever technological advance. If we can't do that, our ability to accelerate social mobility, our ability for our democracy to work will actually be at some point challenged. Now, unfortunately, each of you and me in the 16 years that I've been at Arizona State, we all inherited a design for public higher education that is rigid, fixed, largely incapable of understanding how to modernize. And I don't mean individual programs or individual initiatives or this group or this center. I mean in aggregate. So since 1980, the United States government has assisted citizens of the United States to go to college through Pell Grants. More than half of them have no degree. $500 billion of expenditures. What do you call a person that goes to college in the United States today and doesn't finish? 33 million or so of those individuals are living in our states. What's the word? What do you call someone that didn't finish college? Dropout. It's a derogatory term. So we have a system of higher education which uses derogatory terms to label people that didn't finish their institution, which couldn't adjust to helping them to finish. And so this fixed model of higher education is so intense that I'll give you two examples. So one of your former governors is now the president of Purdue University, Mitch Daniels. And Mitch Daniels has been unbelievably innovative in driving forward a number of initiatives. And he recently was so bold as to try to acquire an online platform so that he could scale Purdue University's land grant mission to something other than just the few kids that could come there and attend the university in a physical form. Could he take the land grant model and expand it out so that everyone would have an opportunity to engage Purdue, which is a world-class, fantastic, unbelievable institution? Could he do that? He took that risk. What's going on now is faculty have assembled, voting against him. They're going to go up to Chicago here in a few days and meet with the Higher Learning Commission and urge that this thing that he acquired from the market, that he's converting into a not-for-profit arm to extend the power of Purdue University, not be accredited, called Purdue Global. Now that is, and I will say it, and I know people are watching, that's insanity to those of you on the Purdue faculty. I mean, I'm just telling you. We did a program a few years ago, and you're going to hear from one of our graduates with the Starbucks Corporation. Starbucks has more than 130 or 40,000 employees in the United States. Half or so went to college and never finished. Couldn't a great, conscious, capitalist corporation company like Starbucks, working with their partners, work with a civic-minded university to develop a program that could find a way to get people that had started college, were out in the workforce, had debt, had some problem, couldn't solve the problem? Could we come together and figure out a way so you could graduate from college, from a great university with no debt? So we launched the program. We've graduated 1,000 people. We have 7,000 students in the program with Starbucks right now. We plan on graduating 25,000, for which we had to do brand control to maintain damage control on our own brand, because only a low-life scum university would be so foolish as to divert the energy of its elite faculty to educating college dropouts working at Starbucks. That's how bad it has gotten. So, out on the frontier, here's what we decided to do. I was 12 years at Columbia University as executive vice provost there and a faculty member there, grew up there, got tenure there. That was sort of like proving that one could be, operate at that kind of level. But I learned a lot of lessons there, and one of the things that I learned was that innovation was central to everything, and innovation was largely anachronistic to academic culture, except in a science laboratory or an engineering laboratory where engineering prospers around the inventions and discoveries and technologies. And so out on the frontier, here's what we decided to do, and I got to walk through this quickly. We built a new design at all levels. First was purpose. The university does not exist for the faculty. This is serious business. Our university exists first for the students, second for the community and the community we serve, And lastly, the faculty are the means rather than the end of the institution. So to do that, we redefined our entire purpose. We restructured a charter built around what a public university is supposed to be. Our institution will be measured by inclusion versus exclusion and the success of our students. We'll actually measure the success of the university based on who we include and how our students succeed. Second, we'll measure the research power of the university by what did we do to actually benefit the public in a measurable way. And then lastly, and this is well articulated in our charter, which you can find, the university actually will take responsibility for the outcomes of our community: economic, social, educational, health, and well-being. So if K-12 is underperforming, we're partly to blame, and we better look at it as something that we're partly responsible for example. Second, we changed the design of the university. Most of the universities and colleges and community colleges that you all oversee or fund or interact with in one way or another, they're run like public agencies. That's an archaic model which will never deliver to you what you want. They will not be able to become efficient. They will not be able to become effective. They will not be able to largely increase their efficacy, with some exceptions, because the design is wrong. So we went away from the agency model to what we call the enterprise model. And in enterprise, we're actually responsible for finding resources beyond those resources provided to us by the government. Now, all universities do this, and some universities do it more than others, but a fundamental design shift. I'm still on the list of, we set out to design a different kind of university. We changed our clock speed. This watch that my wife gave me many years ago, it actually measures the rotation of the Earth and the speed of the Earth's rotation, not a semester. So each second is not a semester. So in a normal academic watch, it's 5 seconds is 5 semesters. That's 2.5 years. That doesn't work. The clock speed of a modern, adaptive public university must be at the speed of the economy, the speed of change, the speed of what it takes to be competitive. Technology. We embraced technology like no tomorrow. Here's what Baumol's law says about organizations that do not embrace technology. All organizations, this is a Nobel Prize-winning economist, if you don't embrace technology, your price will rise infinitely. Period. Healthcare suffers from this. Academia suffers from this. So we embrace technology in every possible way. And I do have a punchline that I'm working toward. We have 175 technology partners integrated into our institution on campus, allowing us to project off of campus, allowing us to do other things. Scale. All campuses sit in some sort of isolated, interactive arena where they just believe that they have to solve everything themselves. Their scale is what they think of as the learners that come to their campus. And if you don't finish at one of these campuses, you're a dropout, and you're a cast-off. You're cast away. We decided to change the scale of the focus of the institution to social scale. Could we help 10 corporations or big companies like Starbucks to graduate another 100,000 people over a number of years, eliminating college debt as a problem? Could we scale where we could find a way to work with the entire K-12 community? We did. We built a digital platform now engaged with the entire K-12 community. Could we build charter schools to prove certain things and then integrate them in as learning centers and so forth? Could we operate at scale? The answer is yes. Could we combine excellence and access into a single institution? Academic excellence means you actually allow your faculty members to think well of themselves rather than giving them the job of only being a teacher. If you call them only a teacher and you call it a college or a university, they will forever believe themselves to be in a social hierarchy where they are by definition second class. If they are by definition second class, soon they will be unionized and soon they will be organizing against you. That's the way it works. Resources. We acquire our resources not from the Lord and Master, the state government. The state government invests what they can. Our other resources are acquired through partnerships and through engagement in the market and through engagement in the advancing of our ideas and our activities. Access. If the university itself is not accessible to the broadest cross-section of society and it calls itself a public university, then it has not been successful. Our student body is representative of the entire socioeconomic diversity of our state and our region. It took 12 years of changes to be able to get there, and we've been there for 4 years at that level of diversity. Unbelievable changes. And then finally, quality. If it's not quality, don't do it. Close it, shut it, eliminate it, change the leaders, do whatever's necessary if it's not quality. So here's the results. I'll give you 2 examples. Governor Ducey knows that in all states, including Arizona, we're really interested in having more STEM graduates. So just picking that one area, we decided to eliminate all of our engineering departments in 2008, change the basic logic of our engineering school, change the logic such that we could change who would attend the school, who would graduate from the school. Could we get more women, more minorities, more people in engineering overall? We created 5 Grand Challenge engineering schools and an older model called a polytechnic school. We combined those things together. Long story short, 8,000 students in engineering in 2008 with a 68% freshman retention rate. This year we have 21,000 students in engineering, 17,000 on campus, 4,000 online, and a 90% freshman retention rate. The online students have the world's first fully accredited online electrical engineering degree for undergraduates. Robots, everything you can imagine, unbelievable degree format so that the guy sitting on a ship or the woman sitting on a ship off the coast of Korea or Afghanistan while they're working, serving our country, can also get an electrical engineering degree, not a basket weaving degree online. And so we're actually trying to produce fantastic opportunities at the university. University outcomes, and this is really the crux of the story. Since 2003, 2002 was the first year that we began implementing the new model. We produced 3 times as many graduates as we produced in 2003. We went from 8,000 to 24,000 graduates just from our institution. 5 times the level of research, more research than is going on outside of medicine at Stanford, at UCLA, at USC, at Harvard, at Princeton, at Carnegie Mellon, a range of schools, a huge metamorphosis of our faculty. We have 10 times the number of learners, that is someone taking at least 1 course from us online, 10 times. We have a 95% improvement in our 4-year graduation rate. 95% improvement using technologies, using innovation, using this, using that. We have a 75% reduction in the cost to the state to produce a single degree. Our faculty is the same size. That is a metamorphic transformation because out on the frontier, where we are, we don't have a fixed idea of what we're supposed to be. Most universities have become fixed ideas. Fixed. That doesn't work anymore. It worked very well. We have unbelievable achievements, and it doesn't mean everyone has to change. And so our 2025 goals are even more significant. 32,000 graduates, matching the diversity of our society, men, women, ethnicity, socioeconomic class, what have you. No predictability based on family income for graduation. And what's the key drive? New design, new design, new design. Any one of you as governors that are attempting to enhance the productivity of your universities by managing the present design, you will not be successful. With some exceptions, you will not be successful. A new design is required, a new model, a new way of looking at things, particularly to operate at scale. So you all know definitively that for a 10-year-old child today, born in 2008, for that child, 60% of the jobs that child will have access to when they enter the workforce, and I don't mean this lightly, they do not exist. We don't even know what they will be called. All we know is that for them to be able to do those jobs successfully, to advance our country economically and socially and culturally, they will have to be master learners of some type. You can't do that unless you can scale in a way that we've never been able to scale before. So, thank you for the invitation and a little story from the stagecoach from Arizona. Thank you.